Hey guys, how are you? How are you on this blessed Sunday morning? Yeah, it's 11:22. We just got done watching our church on our television out there, and finally we're able to talk about who has been or who has qualified to get an invitation to next year's 2021 Bassmaster Elite Tournament Series. It's been an exceptionally long year. I think we all can agree on that. With COVID, with everything that's happened, it's been one of those years that just seems like it keeps going and going and going and going. But after yesterday's finish of the tournament there on Lay Lake, we now know officially who is going to get accepted or get the invitation into the Bassmaster Elite Series. And this is a series that, we had a group of anglers that are now, left to go to Major League Fishing and now are trying to make their way back into the Elites. And I think overwhelmingly in all the comments that I've seen since doing the last live video, I think it was when I was down south. I don't even know where I did it. I might have done it here. But since then, it is without a doubt, people believe that everyone should qualify to get into the Elites. And I'm completely with it. I'm completely with that. However, I think there might need to be some stipulations or some things where they invite some extra people. And we'll talk about that too. Hey, Hammer. So, officially, we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to talk about that this morning. We're also going to talk about where the Elites are going next year. They finally released the 2021 schedule, which is great news for all of us, because I do believe that had something of effect on some of the anglers, or at least one angler, maybe moving. I don't know for sure. Kind of told me it, but I'm not 100%. But first, let's look at who is getting an invitation to the Bassmaster Elites. And the guys that are coming in there are some absolutely stud anglers. Some stud anglers. Oh, Hammer, where are you fishing? I'll text me if you can. So here's who we know is getting an invitation to the next year's 2021 Elites. We're going to start off with, he won the Falcon Rods Opens Angler of the Year. Brian New is going to the Elites. Next, Justin Atkins. Now, if you don't know Justin was a Major League Fishing angler, moving over to the Elites. He's never fished Elites before. He's always fished FLW. I do think that he wanted to be in the Elites, and when he got the invitation to go to Major League Fishing, I think he jumped on that action, and for whatever reason, who knows why, he has now become an elite angler. Matt Robertson. If you don't know Matt Robertson, I met Matt 2 years ago at the Classic. He's the guy that had the fur coat on. This guy is a character, and he's a fantastic angler. I reached out to Matt to see if I could do an interview with him. I just reached out to him last night. Matt is the guy that won the tournament, had all of his gear stolen in the middle of the year, which was ridiculous. And then the community came together and was able to get enough money together so he could go out and buy all the stuff that he had stolen. And it was like $15,000 or $20,000 of equipment, rods, reels, tackle stolen out of the back of his car or the boat. I don't know which one right off the top of my head. But we came together and helped him. But Matt Robertson is now an elite angler. Mark Frazier is also going to get an invitation to the Elites. And he is brother of Micah that's already on the Elites. So we're going to have another brother combo. Remember we said Jordan and Matt Lee, and then Bobby and Chris Lane. All those four guys are now with Major League Fishing. Now we have two of them back in the Elites, which is going to be great. We've talked about this one for sure. He is one of those dominant anglers on the face of the earth. Doesn't matter what you say about everybody else. Over the last few years, Jason Christie, before he went to Major League Fishing, was one of the most dominant anglers we've ever seen. Always contending for a classic, always contending every week for a championship or a win, a tournament win, and always in that top 5, top 10 for Angler of the Year. Jason Christie coming back is as big a news as anything in here. Also, from Major League Fishing last year, Greg Hackney is definitely going back. He announced it on his Facebook page saying, he's happy to be back, blah, blah, blah. Greg Hackney, another fantastic angler that's heading back to the elites. We have Kenta Kimura that is getting an invitation. We have Darnold Gleason. I think that's how you say his name. We have Joshua Strackner, Pat Schlapper, Justin Hamner, and of course, I didn't think it was going to happen, but Scott Martin is going to make his way to the elites. So those 12 guys are definitely getting an invitation. Now, those invitations ranked by how they did in Angler of the Year points in the total open, but the top 4 from there, also they take top 4 from the Easterns and the Central. And if you double qualified, then the next person down kind of got the invitation. We should mention, we just had an interview with him. Keith Carson, holy cow, dude, won the Lay Lake and won himself a classic bid. And that's fantastic. It was right around the street. John Cox's best buddy. And we just did an interview with him. He's going to be on the National Professional Fishing League next year. But this just shows this guy didn't even have a clue of how to fish Lay Lake. He went out there and put it down. So congratulations to Keith Carson. Now we have to talk about who did not make an elite thing, make an elite invitation. Right off the bat, Todd Castledine. Kind of surprised on this one. He ended up finishing 10th overall. So really, there's an outside chance that Todd gets an invitation. How it would work is those 12 guys first get their invitation. They can either accept the invitation or they can, I think they have a 2-year exemptions or a year exemption where they can say, I can't do it this year. I want to do it next year. Now, the reason why some of the guys have to do that is it's a big financial burden to go jump into the elites. They're not just, there's eight or 9 tournaments next year where you're paying $5,000 each tournament. Now you get $2,500 back, but you're still looking at 14 to, let's just say 8. That's still a $20,000 commitment. Now, like I said, it would be a $40,000 commitment, but in this case, because they get $2,500 back at each tournament, it's kind of a little bit of a break. That's where things get a little weird. Like if the Major League Fishing is $5,000 a tournament. However, they get like $3,600 back. So their tournament fees are $1,400. Whereas the elites are $5,000, they get $2,500 back. Their tournament fees are $2,500. NPFL doesn't have any extra stuff back. Theirs right off the bat are $5,000. And I think FLW is like $4,600 or $4,800. That's where, those, while being in the top leagues, you're getting something back. It's not as big as a financial commitment, but you still can win the most amount of money. If you want to be in the big leagues, that's what happens. It's kind of unfair a little bit, but that's could do a whole nother show about that. So those who did not make it, Todd Castledine came 10th overall. Bradley Hallman came in 15th. Andrew Upshaw came in 24th. Here's the one that I think is the key to this whole thing. Jacob Prosnick came in 35th overall and 36th in the Central. In my personal belief, I think there's got to be some sort of exemption. I think you kind of got to invite Jacob back. He's one of the best anglers on the face of the earth, hands down. He did very well on Major League Fishing. He did very well in the elites. I know that everyone believes that he should have to qualify, and I'm not taking anything away from that, but it's really hard for me to imagine that you don't invite him back into the elites. Find some sort of exemption for him because he's that good of an angler, and not like any of these other guys aren't that good of an angler too. Bobby Lane Jr. finished 10th. He's staying with Major League Fishing, but he finished 10th in the Eastern Opens. There's a very slim possibility that you start passing down all these guys Sorry. And out of nowhere, Bobby Lane gets the thing, but Bobby's staying with Major League Fishing. And then last but not least, Brian Latimer. It's hard to imagine Brian Latimer, B.lat, not getting an invitation. And when I say that, I think it's right for them to qualify. I want to make that completely honest and straightforward. I do believe everyone should qualify. However, I think there should and there could be some exemptions. And those guys I just mentioned are on that list of possible exemptions. Does it hurt the elites to open it up and grant an exemption like that? It kind of does. It kind of takes away from qualifying. However, these guys, Prosnick, Latimer, Upshaw, Hallman, Castledine, there's a ton of guys. There's those guys and a bunch more that are just fabulous, fabulous studs of anglers. And it's kind of hard for them not to, now you can say, look, you got to retry next year. And most of these guys probably will make it next year. However, there's always that slight possibility that they go, why not go over here to Major League Fishing? Or why not go over to NPFL? Think about that. It helps those brands as much as it helps Bass. So will we see some exemptions? I don't know. I really don't know. No. Those people, put those names in elites will help draw fans. You're 100% right, Jason. You're 100% right. Okay. I've been told I need to start doing commercials. So hang on a second. We're going to do a Tackle Webs commercial. And when we get back, we'll talk more about this.
This is Jim. Jim loves fishing, boating, anything to do with time on the water. Whether on the flats with his buddies, cruising around with the family, or an early morning solo session on his kayak or paddleboard. His time on the water is important and what he looks forward to after a long week of work. But no matter what boat he is on, there never seems to be a good way to keep the gear he needs organized, secure, and easy to get to in a safe place. Until one day, he found out about tackle webs. With tackle webs, Jim can easily add durable, accessible storage to any of his vessels, wherever he needs his stuff. Now, Jim enjoys stress-free days on the water, no matter how much stuff his friends and family brings. Find out how tackle webs can help you at tacklewebs.com.
Okay, back to what we were talking about. I think they need some exemptions for some of these guys. I think it only helps the core of Bass. And even though I've been criticized about saying, oh, Bass this, Bass that, I'm 100% that Bass is the king. I think everything that Bass does is right. I think I don't think there's much they can do to be better. On the ESPN Fox 1 thing, I'm a little up and down on that. And my opinion only, is I kind of like ESPN a little bit better. And here's why. I can go over to my television. I have ESPN almost instantly. As soon as I click it on my TV, it's there. Even from, I don't do cable TV. I do internet TV. So I subscribe to ESPN, whatever it is, and I get ESPN2. Now I can understand that ESPN, they weren't sure when or where they were going to be played. But for the last few years, ESPN, it's always been on one of the ESPNs. Even though it might be on ESPN3 or ESPN this or that, it's always been on ESPN, and on internet TV, it was readily available. For the Fox Sports one, while I know they have a set time and it's going to be great for them, the problem I have with Fox Sports is I don't have Fox Sports. Now, it doesn't mean I can't go on my smart TV and watch it live on Bassmaster. And the great thing about the Bassmaster feed is that you click on it once and it stays with you the whole time. The problem that I have with Major League Fishing is that you have to refresh and redo all this thing. And I do believe that counts as another click when you do that. So when Bassmaster says they were on ESPN and they got 7 million views, I have a little bit more faith in that is really what their viewership is. Now we have to remember that time when they got all those views also is when there wasn't anything on. We were in the middle of COVID. And I give props to Bass for being able to finish out the schedule like they did. Now they had to push some things back, but that's understandable. But what they did to accomplish and make the whole year is absolutely beautiful. I think the only thing I can say that was even remotely close was the NBA, but they had a bubble, and I'm a huge NBA fan. So that's how it is. Let me put up some people. You're using your tackle webs now. Yes, you're doing it right when guys are leaving to go back. Yep. Donald says he loves his tackle webs. Yep. The best in the world. So those are the guys that I think that there might be an exemption for. I'm also hearing that there might be an exemption for one tournament angler, legendary status angler, that's going to get an exemption into the Classic. While I think allowing another exemption into the Classic is not the worst idea in the world, I think that they're going to make that exemption for an elite angler who's an icon angler. I think there's a way to make an exemption for some of these guys who fish the Opens, who left FLW and Major League Fishing and the FLW Pro Circuit to come fish your Opens, to do this too. If they have the points, if they have the sponsorships, if they have it all, to give that exemption. I'm not sure that the problem I have with the Classic, the possible, I'm not sure if this is happening. I'm just hearing a rumor. And, I try not to do rumors without some real knowledge. But if it happens, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. The problem that I have is I don't think the person who probably will get the invite really isn't even in the top 60 of anglers. Overall in his career, he's probably top 5. But this year on the Elites, he was probably 60th. And if you're going to open that exemption, why not bring in Bill Dance? I mean, when I think about an exemption for the Classic, I think of Jack Nicklaus and Arnie and those guys on the first tee at the Masters, and they go out and hit one tee and that's it. They hit their first tee and they're pretty much done. That's the way I look at it. Bring in somebody who might not be in the elite field. Bring in some astronomical person that's not in there. Let them have their one day of fun. Or their 2 days of fun. It would be nice to see. Craig says the Legends exemption is long overdue, but I would love to see Houston or Martin get an exemption like the Master does. I agree with you completely. I'm telling you right now, the Masters, that exemption, if it happens, is Rick Clunn. 100% it's Rick Clunn. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But I'm not sure people watch the anglers, the kids and the people that are watching right now. I don't think they realize how great of an angler Rick Clunn was. They only see him in the bottom now. I mean, Rick Clunn is a fantastic. He is on the Mount Rushmore of anglers. And I know I'm going to catch grief from that. And this is my opinion and just being overly critical. But I want to see somebody who isn't, in my opinion, I'd like to see someone who isn't in the elites. Give it to Roland Martin. Give it to Bill Dance. Give it to someone like that. That would be wonderful. I would love to see it that way, but I don't think it will be. I think Rick Clunn will get it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But he has an opportunity to qualify right now because he's still in the elites, but he hasn't been able to. So, and really it comes back to, does Rick Clunn draw more people to watch it on television? Or does Rick Clunn make draw more people going to the expo? That's really where it comes down to. Because I can see more people going to the expo because there's a possibility of seeing Rick Clunn. But are they going to watch it unless he's a main person on it? Is he one of the people of that? That's. I mean, there's a few topics I'm gonna do some live shows. I don't know if you guys realize this. I've been uploading every day since the start of the month. I didn't think I'd tell y'all and give you it, but I've been trying to put up a video every day this month. This is today's video, thank God, because we have today, we're going to do a live video, and honestly, tomorrow we're doing a live video too. Friday, we were supposed to have Shaw Grigsby on. He got stuck on the water. He and I talked twice during the day, and it just wasn't working out. So tomorrow is going to be live with Shaw Grigsby on the Facebook page, and if you want to talk to him live, I will put up a link, and you can ask the question live to him. Hank Parker should also be mentioned in there too. Thank you, Donald. Okay, so there we have it. Next. Next, we're going to talk about finally, the Bassmaster Elites have released their 2021 schedule. It's been a long time in the coming. I mean, we've been waiting forever. This has been a difficult year for the elites and other people to put together a tournament schedule. If you don't know how it works, they have to have people go out and make sure that the lake is a decent lake to fish, that there's amenities and there's boat ramps and there's all the stuff that it takes to put on an elite field tournament. You have to make sure that there's Wi-Fi, and you have to make sure that there is ample place for fans and all that stuff. So when we look at this year has been a tough year to put forth a good schedule. Now, I knew 4 of them right off the bat 2 months ago were definite going to be repeats. And Bass was having a hard time filling the field. But I think they put together a pretty good, I wouldn't say exceptional, but a pretty damn good tournament schedule for 2021. In February 11th through the 14th, the elites will go to, like normal, the St. John Rivers in Palatka, where Rick Clunn and Brandon Palaniuk, who was last year. Rick Clunn won it 2 years ago. Palaniuk did really good last year. And a lot of good anglers will do really well. Now, that's one they've been to a few times here in a row. Rightfully so. I will tell you, I talked to, I can say it now because we're not on the radio. I talked to a girl last year, and she was like a model for Toyota or something. And she was running back and forth, and she kept bumping into me. So finally I said, I didn't say rudely, but I'm like, are you okay? Do you need some help? What can I do to help you so you're not running around with your head cut off? And she said, I'm just I want to get this person's autograph, this. And I said, oh, you live here in Palatka? And she said, yeah. I said, what is there fun to do here? She says, fishing, and that word was the F word with ing on the end of it. That's what she says all they do. They fish and that's it. Palatka, that's it. That's her words exactly. I thought it was hilarious. But the elites are heading back there for, I think, the 3rd or 4th year. I'd like to see him go to someplace new. I'd like to see him come to Toho or Harris Chain. But Palatka is, the people at Palatka, if you could see the crowd at Palatka, really 2 years ago, you can't even imagine the amount of people that show up for it. It's unbelievable. So Palatka, the first one, February 25th through the 28th, they'll go back to the 2019 Classic Knoxville, Tennessee River, where I can say if Mike Iaconelli's in the elites, I would look for Iaconelli, Brandon Lester, Brandon Palaniuk, Chris Zaldane, Seth Fielder. If Prosnick makes it, he's going to be one. And then my boy Brandon Card. Watch for those guys to have a fantastic tournament up there. Brandon Card, that's his home waters. Iaconelli did like 4th or 5th in the Classic. Lester was like 7th. And Palaniuk is just good everywhere. That's just what it comes down to. But they'll be on in Knoxville, Tennessee, on the Tennessee River, and that'll be a great tournament. They didn't go there. They went there for the Classic, didn't go there last year. So not really a new one, but going back to it, and that's a great place. And really, the people in Tennessee and Knoxville, Tennessee, that was the biggest Classic I've ever been to. I've been to 8 or 9 years of Classics. Without a doubt, the Knoxville, Tennessee Classic was the best Classic I've ever been to in terms of fan and all that. So great job on going there. Next, March 19th through the 21st, Ray Roberts, Texas. That's where the Classic will be held. We now know all the anglers for the Classic now that Keith has been brought in, and we'll have a whole Classic show here later on. But then that starts what I'm calling the Texas Swing, where you go from Ray Roberts. Then in April you go to the Sabine River, and then April 22nd through the 25th they're on Lake Fork. If you want to know who's going to win out there, even though Keith Combs is not going to be at the Classic that I don't think of, watch for Keith Combs in both those tournaments. That's his home state, and quite honestly, Keith Combs is Mr. Texas fishing. He is a stud there. He is a stud. Sabine River should be a fun one to watch. Lake Fork should be a really, really fun one to watch. After that starts the Alabama swing. Here's where I'm a little weirded out. We have 3 in Texas, counting the Classic, and then we have 3 exact tournaments in Alabama. They're going to go to May 6th through 9th, the Neely Henry Lake. Then May 20th through the 23rd, they'll be in Gunnersville. And then June 10th through 13th, they'll be in Pickwick Lake in Alabama. 3 of them. Brandon Cobb should be in all 3 of those tournaments. Brandon Cobb's going to I think Keith Combs is going to have a good year next year. I think Brandon Cobb's really going to have a good year. I think Brandon Palaniuk is going to crush it next year, and that'll be fun to see too. Not to mention, watch for Jason Christie, because Christie was good in Texas, and Christie is good in Alabama too. Christie could come out of this next year as not only he's already one of the Angler of the Year favorites, but he could come out as Angler of the Year and #1 angler in the country after just those 6 tournaments. Christie could be a good one. Palaniuk too. July 8th through the 11th, they go to Lake Champlain. That's the normal one. They always go there, smallmouth. Look for Palaniuk to, again, crush it there. And then their last one was June, I think that's 16th through 18th on the St. Lawrence River in Waddington, New York. That's another smallmouth fishery. Watch for Cobb and Palaniuk and all those smallmouth guys that really rely on that front sonar to really just crush it, the live scope and stuff like that. Those guys are going to have a good tournament, and that should be a good one. But overall, a great, not the best, but still an absolutely ridiculous great season. I think the only thing I would say, my constructive criticism, was 3 in Texas, 3 in Alabama. I think you could spread it out a little bit more and go to different places. However, with COVID right now, nothing is safe and secure. So getting these right from there, they also have a makeup date too, in case something happens. They are set for a great year on the elites, And there's going to be a couple of guys that just are standouts, honestly, standouts. Like I said, Keith Combs, Cobb, Palaniuk, Jason Christie, Scott Canterbury can fish anywhere. There's a lot of these guys that are going to do really, really, really good. And watch for Scott Martin, too. Scott Martin is really good in Gunnersville and those Alabama lakes, too. So it will be fun to see how they do and watch it. I'm excited that they finally got the Elite Series out there for us. I'm planning on having another somewhat live show on a couple other topics before Christmas, but it's good to finally have this out there. It's good to have this out there. Okay, like I mentioned, I've been trying to put out a video every day for you since the beginning of the month. I got some more coming up. I can tell you them real fast once I get rid of all the church stuff on my screen. So, we did the 5K giveaway. You know the 5K giveaway is up. If you haven't subscribed and done that, I don't know what you're doing. There's some great stuff. I got the Costas, the Optima battery, and that big, you can hear it's right there, that crankbait box that's got all sorts of goodies in there. Some stuff you maybe not have seen it. We have the Hyperlastic Worm Spin is done, the Zorus Pachinko, the Berkeley Power Bait Shad, the Croco Gator, which I thought was a new lure and then found out it was like 9 years old. Still did a closer look on that. The Mega B.a.s.s SV3 spinnerbait, the Mega Strike Beater Blade, which is a vibrating jig, Savage Gear Twitch Reaper, KVD 100 Jerkbait, Strike King KVD 1.5, Hard Knock, the Curly Min, and today I did some voiceovers this morning while I was watching church stuff. I did 3 voiceovers for a few other ones. So a whole bunch of those are coming up. We'll also do a couple unboxings before Christmas, but hopefully during this month, hey Mom, during this month, you will see a video every day on the Get Your Fish On channel. So check it out. I hope you enjoy them. Sign up for that 5K the 5K giveaway. I really am. I'm very proud of it. I'm thankful. I'm humbled by it. And especially these days, to be honest, I had a whole rant video. I went on here and ranted about people, and I took it down. But, we all can't get along all the time. That's the best way to put it. By the way, 10 months 5 days since I've had a soda. Imagine that. So sign up for the 5K giveaway, and I hope you win. There's going to be more giveaways as we get this going. I was thinking of something already. There's going to be some more fishing videos, hopefully. Hopefully I can get out there with hammer and go speck fishing one of these days. Also, I got an invitation. I'm going to go with a good friend. Greg Batten is going to take me speck fishing. And you're going to see some stuff from Tomahawk Lures got in touch with me. And I'm going to do a bunch of closer looks of a bunch of their products. They're also thinking about coming down and going fishing, so I might do some fishing with that. But tomorrow we'll have Shaw Grigsby. Brandon Palaniuk is committed to doing a live show, and a bunch of other people I'm trying to get a hold of. I want to get a hold of Matt Robertson because I think he'd be a great interview. I've listened to a couple of his interviews, and I thought he was great. I'll reach out to Scott Martin. I doubt that will happen. I mean, Scott will do it on his own channel, and rightfully so. But also, I'd like to get a hold of Greg Hackney and hear his story on why he's coming back and that kind of stuff. So we'll reach out to those guys. I'm trying to do it so that if I do one for bass, that I also do one for Major League Fishing, and that I also do one for NPFL and FLW. I'm trying to keep it as level playing field as possible. I know some people don't like that, but I'm going to try to keep it as even as possible. That's all I've got to say about it. I know I'll take some heat about it. I've been already taking heat that I can't pronounce people's names. I'm sorry. I'm not as good as you are. That's perfectly fine. I've been told, I think I've been called a copycat, which really would be kind of crazy since I've been doing this a lot longer than you have. But I'm not going to deal with the haters anymore. So I can have an open discussion about anything and everything, and want to have the open discussion about anything and everything. I try to comment back to all the comments. I spent an hour and 40 minutes yesterday replying to comments, by the way. An hour and 40 minutes. So we'll see how it goes. Craig, no, you have not missed Shaw. He will be tomorrow. Friday, he was in the middle of doing a new forward-facing scope for, I think, well, maybe I'm not supposed to say that. Well, I don't think it matters. I think he's doing a sonar thing for Motor Guide. They had worked since Tuesday, and then Friday he was supposed to be clear. Friday morning he called me and said, "Hey, dude, we're on the water, but I'll be free in the afternoon." I said, "Okay, no problem, no worries." And then in the middle of it, I called him back and said, "Hey, don't rush on me. I know you got to get this." And in the process, I could hear it howling in the back of him on the phone. And I said, "Are you even getting anything done?" He told me, I got to go to this spot. I don't want to say exactly where it was. I got to go to this spot, and we're going to try to accomplish what we got to try to do. So he'll be there tomorrow morning for sure. So it'll be great. If you have questions for Shaw, put them on there. I will ask anything and everything. If you want to ask him a question personally, I will put the link on the Get Your Fish On Facebook page. You can get the link. It'll put you in a green room. You can put your name in, and I will bring you up, and you will be able to talk to him one-on-one. I will say, I don't have a bleeper. I don't have something that you can dump button or anything. So if I think that you have some weird, crazy name and not true name, I'm not going to bring you up. You can post it on the normal comments like these ones, and I'll bring it up that way too, if you want to do it that way. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a blessed day. I hope you enjoy all the content that's been putting out. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and click the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. Remember, I hope you're happy, healthy, and able to go fishing too. Remember to take a kid fishing. Get your fish on. We will see you soon. Cheers, guys. Thank you.